Yeah, why did you put your NASA badge as your avatar, Josh? Do you think that's
No,
gonna
no, no. I just dusted it off. Uh, I thought it was funny because I got accused of lying the other day.
you were lying about what you worked at NASA?
Yeah, someone was saying I was lying about that.
So you had to dox your NASA badge on the dude, that's crazy.
Oh no, no, no! I edited the photo. I took the badge number off. It's just my name on there.
Okay. I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
No, 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 no. I censored it.
Anyway,
Hey,
from your
send me that file. You can take your face and name off of it, but send me the rest of it. I gotta do something.
What are you gonna do?
we're all gonna get
I'm
NASA badges.
I'm going to NASA.
Oh, he's gonna go he's gonna wear
I'm
it.
gonna copy that onto a blank one and then walk into NASA and I'm gonna start using a computer system.
He's gonna be like, Earth is a globe, am I right? Try to high five everybody. They're gonna look at him like he's crazy.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna wear a big NASA hat, all kinds of shit. Earth is a globe. Don't tell me anything different.
Well, if you ever end up in the San Francisco Bay Area and you want a tour of Ames, as long as you're a U.S. person, you can get a tour.
Wow, really, Josh? That's amazing.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
if you're
not
in
that big of a deal.
Ohio or near Cleveland, I'll give you a tour of Glenn Research Center.
I mean, what do people usually get out of like? Are they? What is it, like a spiritual experience or something? Wow, look at all these computers. You guys actually work on these computers? That's awesome. What are you guys studying? Like
No,
outer space stuff?
I mean, Ames has like huge wind tunnels and a ton of like aerodynamics work as well, because that's where
Name is
the
Glenn.
yeah, that's true. Glenn does a lot of electric propulsion and microgravity research as well.
Wind
They got a huge
tunnels,
drop
and
tower
they've got
there.
a gigantic, the world's largest vacuum chamber.
But yeah, I mean, there are offices with just computers in them, but there's a lot of hardware labs too and test chambers.
Just another day at the office, huh, Josh?
No, I'm avoiding the office today. Amazon just laid off a bunch of folks.
Why? Because the government shut down?
No, because
No,
we're automating everything.
yeah,
Oh,
they're telling us to use AI more, and they cut a bunch of jobs.
That's right. We're
dude,
taking your jobs
you
away, dude.
you knew this was coming, Josh.
Dude, I've been telling you guys that I'm one of the people that is doing this to you guys, and you should have been ahead of the ball game a long time ago. So you can't stop us from automating everything. It's just gonna happen. Just don't fuck with my house. I don't want shit automated here. Only thing I have Alexa turn my lights on and off. That's it.
So, I mean, overall, what kind of reduction are we talking about? What percentage do you think in the company of Amazon?
About 5% of all corporate employees, about 15K.
Jesus, dude. I mean, do they ahead of time give you the guys notice and
They
like you're
have
like, okay, we
They have full boxing lines in Cleveland. There's just no people running them. Gets the items, puts it in the box, makes the box, closes the box, puts the address on it, moves it down the line to a truck.
Oh
There's a
no, this
prototype.
is
The
just
prototype
corporate.
plants here, and yeah, the prototype plants here in Cleveland are doing perfect. They don't need people to run them.
much cheaper too, huh? Than labor?
Yeah, no, these are corporate employees like HR and program managers and engineers.
Oh God, them guys must have had like lengthy, time there working for the. Yeah,
It
I don't
varies.
know.
It varies. Like I've been looking. There's folks with like 8, 9 years of tenure. There's folks that just got hired like 6 months ago. Um, but my department is exempt. So none of our
Why?
no, just because we're much harder to hire than most other corporate
Oh,
employees.
okay. Well, at
Like
least you're in a bubble.
due to ITAR restrictions and other things like Kuiper, the past like 4 or 5 rounds of layoffs, Kuiper has been exempt.
I was gonna tell you the other day, man. You were sounding like Elon Musk, like the way he speaks. You had the same cadence in your voice, the same
Yeah,
and all that shit.
I'm somewhere on the spectrum. It's all good.
Seriously, I didn't know that.
That's weird.
No,
Wait,
no, no,
honestly, you
No,
can't
that's
really talk.
no,
weird shit to say.
not ASD. I just have an auditory processing disorder. So when people are asking me questions,
Oh,
it takes me a second to get my ducks in a row.
well, isn't that what he has? No,
I have no idea.
No,
He has
he's
Asperger's.
no,
he has Asperger's.
he has earpiece listening. That's why he stutters.
I was gonna say I've met Elon a couple times. He definitely is like that all the time. It's not. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
It's
who
kind of
he
an
is.
asshole.
Yeah, it's who he is. You think? He really doesn't care what people's opinions are. He's just gonna say what he's gonna say. Like, it's just about how it's gonna be done. I've heard him. I've heard him in like certain talks where people are trying to talk about, him getting certain funding or taking uh, their funding away from him because like companies that support him. And he's like, you can go f yourself. Like I'm like, golly, man. Yeah, I don't know. That's not professional, but it's just who he is. He doesn't really care.
Who's this? I missed it.
The money bag with eyeballs,
Which,
Elon
which?
Musk.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say which one. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Like I don't know, man. Like he might
No,
be a
he
little bit
cares because
intelligent.
every time he whines a lot, dude. Every time like something happens to like SpaceX, he's whining, so he does care. That's just a front.
I don't know. As far as his intelligence goes, do you think he knows more than the people that work for him? I don't know about that.
No, I think
He
he's a
knows
fucking
he
idiot.
knows a good amount for a CEO about rocket propulsion and like satellite operations, but like he definitely leans on his he's more of like a vibes guy. He definitely leans on his direct reports and his execs. But he knows more about the technical side than most CEOs.
Right? Would you want him teaching at university?
For a business school, yes. For an engineering school, no.
Okay.
As far as like how to break into an industry that
What
typically
makes him a
doesn't
great
have
business person?
just understanding government appropriations, product market fit,
Yeah, I agree with you. He
regulatory.
understands government appropriations very well. He knows how to grift like no other. I'm serious, dude. Like all his businesses depended on government largesse,
I mean, they do.
and they would have all failed if it wasn't for some government freaking tit he wasn't sucking off of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing, dude. At what point, like, how do those deals even go down? Do they happen like at a specific power meeting, like at a luncheon, or like, where does
I
this
can tell you. Yeah, you're not
what I'm
supposed to
saying?
be
Like, do
wandering the
they?
halls as a contractor trying to gin up business deals with government employees, but that happens all the time.
Yeah, dude, that's
I was
exactly
gonna
what I'm
say.
saying. Like, isn't that like
mean-
not the right way to do it? And then that's how it happens. Like,
Yeah, you go wander around the Capitol building and go talk to the representatives that are on the committees that you're interested in.
dude, that's not how they say that it's supposed to be done, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, you have to.
People get paid to
These
do it.
meetings are supposed to be. They're supposed to be formal, aren't they? Am I getting that wrong? Like,
Yeah, but you never go into a formal meeting unless you already know what the person is going to say because you've had a bajillion informal meetings ahead of time.
oh, for God's sakes, dude! Like, well,
I
because
mean, it's
you
how it works.
uh, okay, but that almost sounds like you have to be in a club to even talk to those guys.
AB,
Yes, you are correct.
Am I wrong?
Washington D.C. has the highest average income in America. The average income is $250,000 a year. That should tell you something. That's the average income. Average.
But most of their dollars don't come from their specific job.
I'm just talking about people that work in the D.C. area. The average income is $250,000 a year. The
Yeah, they
average
go.
income. What
How much
they're
is it?
doing some dirty ass shit. There's no other way to explain that. Dude, it's more than New York City. New York City's like half of that. Think
And then
about
they
that,
talk
dude.
about they
New
got.
York City, the most expensive city to live in America, is half the average income of Washington D.C.
I think Yoder was even talking about like that's partly the reason why he wanted to get away from that whole scene because there's a bunch of corruption when it gets up. You know, you have to be in a part of a special group, and that group has to invite you to certain like meetings and soirees and all this other shit. And then you have to be in bed with certain groups. And like, dude, it's
I think of it like this, dude. It's like raisin bread, right? Most of the time, you're gonna bite into the bread, but sometimes you're gonna bite into a raisin. And there's corruption sprinkled, and you never know where it is. It could be around any fucking corner.
but they sell us on this idea of how things are supposed to be, right? Like, in order for you to get to this position, you have to work hard and be a diligent, a person to like study and do this. It's all fake. None of that's real.
Well,
Like,
I will also say
Yeah.
this: we're starting to run out of bread, and there's a lot more raisins than bread at this point.
yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say like Loudoun County in Virginia where I live, median household income, so not average, it's lower than average, but like 50th percentile is like 180K. And like I'm bottom bitch on my team and I clear 350 a year. So like it's kind of
Those
nuts,
guys
not gonna
are.
lie.
Yeah,
So
but
you're
no,
poor?
it's not. Yeah, yeah. He's barely making. He's barely got two nickels to rub together. It sounds like.
I mean, that's I
So
don't even know what to say about that.
my VP made like 1.2 last year.
He took that as
And
salary? Is he
what's
retarded?
okay? Here's the thing.
No. It's a lot of it's stock. I think salary's
Yeah.
probably like 4 or 500.
Mm-hmm.
And then is that how your compensation? Is that what you're including in your 350? 350 on your base, right?
No. Base is like 250.
Oh, okay, because then that kind of fucks you because then if you want the whole thing, you're paying capital gains. Which is more capital gains or income at that point?
Capital gains if you hold on to the stock for a year after it vests. You pay the 20% as opposed to the whatever the 27 or 32.
Yeah, they're raking you over the coals with that.
Nah, it's fine.
It's just coming right
Yeah,
back.
no, it's it's fine because you don't mind it. You're still getting a payout, but at the same time, man, like they're getting their cut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to pay my taxes.
It's not.
Amazon makes most of their money off the government, so it's just a circle jerk. Government pays
Yeah.
Amazon. Amazon
It is
pays
indeed.
him. He pays the government. Government pays Amazon. Amazon pays. It's just a circle jerk.
So the same $20 that you paid them, they're gonna give it right back to you. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, they give
Oh,
us a 10% discount on everything on Amazon.com, and it's like, oh, cool, I get a discount at the company store, so I can take my salary and give it right back to them.
dude, that's like the olden days where they had the corporate towns, and all they had was
Company
a store, and
town.
they'd pay you in script.
I load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. No, I mean it's Kuiper's awesome.
But isn't
Like, he's
Amazon's
fucking great.
largest revenue source the government from their cloud computing
Uh,
shit?
I don't know if it's the government from the cloud computing, but AWS definitely props up the rest of the company.
That was like 30% of their revenue or something. Last I looked, which was a long time ago, but I thought they're. You know what Tesla's major revenue stream is? Fucking carbon credits.
Yeah, for a while. I mean, they're clamping down on that.
Dude, this shit is not maintainable. You realize that, right? A system built like
Agreed.
this is not maintainable.
Agreed.
I mean, the pandemic was kind of like the writing on the wall when nobody goes to work and the whole world the whole society doesn't collapse. That means there's a lot of people doing jobs that don't mean anything.
Yeah, that's what's his name was talking about. Elon. He's making everybody go to work.
Yeah, well, his job, we could get rid of his job and nothing would change.
He'll still be a money bag with eyeballs, bro. And the thing is, once you get to that level, like you can't. He's somebody now. He can go and talk to people that are in political positions.
Well, from my understanding is he runs his day-to-day lifestyle off of debt, right? So he just borrows money against his stock and then pays back the debt. That way you don't have income. Right? You never actually have any income because you're living off of debt loan proceeds. In this system, money is debt, dude. Debt is money. At that level, at least.
And we got Alex Max that just joined us. Alex, welcome. And other new people that are joining, if you want to chime in, go ahead and if you have any questions about the globe flat Earth conversation, let us know. Take that as a no.
No, y'all are right about the soirees and the invite-only events and things. You have to be
Yeah,
at the
man.
right place at the right time.
Yeah, and shake the right amount of hands, and then you'll get what whatever you're funding for your project or whatever. It's just funny that it operates that way, and it's not the formal way that everybody thinks in their mind the way it should work. You get what I'm saying? Like if
Like
you're
the
gonna
globe.
have a business like there's this projection of how it's supposed to be, right? Then there's this whole other side of how it really is, and it's not what you've been told. Like if you're learning if you're going and you want to become someone in that specific area, like if you wanted to move up, right? Don't you have to be a part of some group of like people that then you go meet somebody else who's gonna you're gonna shake, and he's gonna be like, okay, well, yeah, I like what you're saying, I like what you're doing, and you're proposing it to him. It's informal. It's not something that you go into a room perhaps and have a real formal kind of sit down and everybody's listening to what you're saying. It's not. I don't know. It's not. You never see it you have a lot of people saying it's that way, but it's never. Is it really? You're up there. You know what's going on. You know where the real
Yeah,
transactions happen are at informal meetings.
it 100% happens like that.
I don't know. That's the other side to like why people say, well, why would they lie? Why are they? It's like, well, then if nothing's going up, if nothing's really above board and legit, like the way we all perceive it to be, at least that's not the perception from like hearing people that are actually working these jobs. Like it's not, and it's not just you, Josh. Everybody that works in that specific those areas of field of expertise, engineers or some sort of person that works in a high position. They're never like they never get there without like somebody actually giving them that spot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I definitely benefited from a good amount of nepotism. Like my gig at NASA, like I didn't even apply for that. Like it was my bridge summer between my bachelor's and my master's degree, and I told my advisor, who runs the satellite lab at Georgia Tech, that I'm not planning on taking an internship this summer. I'm planning on sticking around Atlanta, bartending, like just chilling out for a little while. And like even after I had already finished my finals, I got a call from my advisor. He's like, "Hey, yeah, a buddy of mine at NASA Ames had an intern drop out last minute. They're contractually obligated to fill the spot. I know you've like actually said you're not doing anything this summer, but you're qualified, and this would be good for you. So I sent them your info and your resume. You have an interview in 45 minutes. Like
Holy smokes, dude!
like I didn't even apply for the position. I was just told, hey, you're going to go do this."
I mean, this
that's
ain't news,
intense,
dude.
bro.
I've been hearing since I was a kid. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So this isn't
Yeah,
really new.
I mean, but it just isn't the perception like, well, you got to submit your resume, you got to put all your qualifications down, and it's like everybody's doing that thing, right? But out of the hundreds of stacks of like applications, of which I'm pretty sure there was a lot of good ones, they, for the sake of just trying to get somebody where they don't have to vet, they already met someone like him, like Josh. They would just say, hey, we'll just get that guy you talked to that one time that sounded like he knew what he was saying. Let's get that guy on
Oh
there.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, no,
And
that's exactly how I've got like half my jobs. Actually, most of them. Like almost all of the opportunities I've had have not been like stuff that I've like formally applied for. It's just because I knew somebody and
yeah,
they pulled my stuff out of the stack.
so nobody. Yeah, I guess there's an argument that can be had for people that would say that you'd have to do everything by doing it this way and that. I don't know. It's just
Well, I won't
well,
say it's a pure meritocracy, but it's definitely like you need to pass like the smell check. Like you need to be able to do good work, right? But the network and like the who is just sort of a catalyst on top of that. Um,
that's
like
the deciding factor, though, isn't it?
it's the difference between applying for a
Come
bunch of
on, Josh.
jobs and interviewing and like
Yeah, it makes
I don't
life
know.
easier. It
It
makes
makes
life
life way
easier,
easier.
bro. It makes life easier if a friend of a friend introduced you to some person that had a real high position to put other people in certain positions, and then he's like, well, yeah, I like what you're saying. Meet us
Well,
on Friday or whatever, and then you're just like, whoa, like,
so I mean it
come on, bro.
gets even crazier than that. Like I like I'll explain the snowball here for a little bit. Like got this NASA internship. While I was at the NASA internship, I like overheard a meeting of like a canceled project, so they had funding kicking around that they were like, oh wow, well, we're not going to be able to do this project with MIT anymore, so like we're going to need to find something else to replace it on this launch manifest. And I was just like, oh shit, I would love to like, so I just like walked into this director's office and like pitched a satellite program idea. I was like, hey, I'm going back to Georgia Tech in like 2 months. Can I get this funding and just work on this project that I want to do? And they maybe go through a rigmarole, but like I ended up securing my own like tuition waiver and funding for grad school just because I happened to be in the right place at the right time at Ames.
Jeez, dude.
And like I like ended up sitting next to a specific person in my undergrad capstone who got into like this super elite like internship program. And she like helped me with my application to apply for it. Like she, gave me her application. She like let me talk to a bunch of other alumni. And so when I got into that program the following year, like the guy who runs it is a CEO in my industry, and I really enjoyed working with him. And so over the past like 6 or 7 years, now I run his 501c3 and like have a call with him once a week. Because he, he's he's a CEO in our industry, and he helps me make connections and get access to conferences and funding for travel and a bunch of other shenanigans outside of work. But it's it's all that shit.
It's all of what I already thought it was, but not as perceived as what it is. That's all I'm saying, man. Like a lot of people
No,
would say,
100%.
well, you gotta work hard, you gotta do that. I mean, that's part of doing something, getting to a position you really want, but that's not, because out of the stack of all the applicants and everybody that's trying to get to a position, it's not gonna be the reason why you get that job, bro.
100%. I mean, that's why LinkedIn is so powerful. Like I tell my mentees all the time, I was like, I would rather you apply for five positions and like find a Georgia Tech alumni that works at that company and like send him a LinkedIn DM to have a coffee chat than like shotgun like 20 applications from the hip. Like cold applying is like the worst way to get a job.
So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna switch it over to like, if people wanted to actually propose something for flat Earth, and you wanted to be taken seriously or something, you'd actually have to have like a little informal meeting or something with someone that could probably get you in some sort of door. Like it's not going to happen like the way people are portraying it to be. Oh well, just submit some peer-reviewed paper or do some sort of thing and submit it to academia. That doesn't happen that way. I understand the way this particular little game is played. You have to know people in order for you to get something actually accomplished. And then if something's going to get pushed through, you gotta have to know some more people that know more people. Like, so it's not, it doesn't work in the same manner like people, the way they portray it to be. Oh, well, if you want to have flat Earth something as legit as what you're saying it is, then you got to do this and go through the channels. And it doesn't work that way. I've never seen that when people say that, they don't. I know what they're saying, but they don't. It's not gonna be the goal won't be accomplished, not in the manner in which they think it needs to be. You get what I mean? Like if they want flat Earth to be, this is the reason why I was going through this whole thing with you. It's because like I know when people say to us, "Well, you want flat Earth to be put to a broader audience, then you need to do it this way, and it's got to follow this channel, and you got to talk to this guy." And it needs to happen. Everything that's done here needs to be done more informally than formally, I think. What do you guys think? That's why I was actually having that conversation with you, because that's what I understand with people. For us trying to get this out to a greater platform, we'd have to actually have those sorts of meetings with people. And the only way to do that, I hate to say it, man, but like people like you, Josh, talking to you, then maybe whispering it to some other guy, and then some other guy's like, "Hey, that's weird. I was thinking the same thing." And that guy might be in a high position, and you're like, "Really?" And then the conversation then spirals into like, "Well, then let's have a meeting with that one guy," and then so on and so forth. I mean, otherwise, it's not gonna, dude. It won't get recognized. Academia will just be like what you said. The rest of your buddies will do is just shrug it off and like, oh, I don't know how you still talk to those guys or whatever.
So from my perspective, I want to use the same type of like relationship for the exact opposite reason. Like I understand that like formally like getting access to all this stuff and filing FOIA requests and you know going through official channels and going to conferences and things like to get data and information, like you can get stonewalled. But if you're hanging out in here and I have a bunch of friends at different space companies and you want a tour and you want to go kick the tires on the hardware, like you want to get access and ask a bunch of questions. Like for example, my cousin who's like 6 years old, he just had his birthday and he wants to be an astronaut. And so his parents took him down to Cape Canaveral for like his birthday to go to the Kennedy Visitor Center. And so like they reached out, they're like, "Hey, we're going down to Cape Canaveral. Like, do you know anybody? Could we get like extra tours or like behind the scenes stuff or whatever? And so I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So I literally like reached out and they got access to like launch pads and went inside of Blue Origin and saw like the production line for the New Glenn rocket and like the satellite manufacturing plant down there for Amazon. Like all this stuff is, you just have to know somebody and have somebody like vouch for you to like that you're not gonna, steal state secrets or, you know, be a security risk. But if you know somebody, you can get access to a ton more information and things besides just like stuff that's Googleable. You obviously have to sign an NDA and things, but I want to leverage that sort of backdoor, who type relationship to provide y'all with information and let y'all kick the tires on things that you're skeptical about.
What do you think, Indio? You want to kick the tires?
The asterisk there is you have to be a US
and discover
person.
what, dude? I've already done this. Look, I mean, those people are building shit. So what? I mean, Ben and Jerry's. I've been to the Ben and Jerry's factory too, where they're making ice cream. They could say this comes from fucking Magic Space Cows. How am I gonna know? And everybody at the factory could believe the fucking milk comes from Magic Space Cows, and no one would be able to tell one way or another. I mean,
You come in with like very pointed questions.
Well, I mean, yeah, and they can give me like very pointed answers, but the fundamental claim, they don't know, right? You can build rockets all day long, and if it goes out of sight, you don't know where it eventually landed. I mean, obviously they track the device, but eventually there's a handoff where they don't know anymore, where they're relying on a third party.
Well, you could see what the nature of that third party is, right? You could ask questions about what's your relationship with them. What does that data transfer process look like? Like once you're under NDA and you're a US person, like they're able to speak freely with you.
Sorry, I was talking to somebody. Yeah, I mean, none of that shit would have. Listen, bro, I worked for General Dynamics. I've seen all the shit already. I don't like seeing more of it. Doesn't convince me of anything.
Okay, I'm just off.
I'm
Extending
just
the
saying,
offer.
like, yeah, it'd be really cool. I mean, I watch people make all sorts of freaking classified, top secret fucking handles that, like, well, I can probably do this. I helped set up a facility that they're building a replica of a optical satellite that was in space that was put there allegedly in the 70s, and they were building a complete mock-up of it to figure out when it would fail. Okay, this was Raytheon, Draper Labs, and General Dynamics in collaboration. So I helped. I don't really want to say exactly what I did, but anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're treading on thin ice right now. For your own good, I'd recommend you change the subject.
No, well, I mean, it wasn't like. I mean, it wasn't like the collaboration wasn't classified. Let's put it that way. That was like in in their what do they call it? Their corporate newsletter. We're collaborating with Draper Labs and Raytheon to do this thing, right? But the nature, right? The specific nature of like what exactly they were doing, I'm not going to talk about. I'm just saying I've seen it all, so it's like more isn't going to convince me. Like I'll just use this example: the people that worked on that, what do they know, right? They just got a bunch of spec sheets, engineering diagrams, schematics, shit like that they're staring at, and they're like, "Yeah, this thing is it's up in space, and we're going to do all this stuff." And they don't know anything. They have a bunch of beliefs. I know that. Just like I didn't know anything, and I could sit here, right? And I could sit here and tell all the flat earthers, I know satellites exist. I set up this facility where they did this, that, and the other thing. But I don't know anything. I don't know shit. like
I mean,
about Utah. I touched a rocket, dude. Like, fucking, what the fuck?
the only assertion I would make there is things have shifted in the past like 20 years. Like it's not like a General Dynamics or a Raytheon, Lockheed, Boeing, or whatever. You've got a lot more like small small commercial entities that are everything is in house. You're talking about a group of a couple hundred folks where their mission control is right next to their manufacturing floor, where the CEO is walking around right next to the custodian. Like there's a bunch of these new age or we call them commercial space entities out there where things are a lot less of a close hold, where there would be more opportunities to really dive deep into like, hey, here's a live view of the satellite, hey, here's live telemetry we're getting and command and control and
Josh, I'm listening
the
to you, but like,
systems.
I have questions. I have questions to ask about that. What good is it
Sure.
going to do if I'm the only one that's going to know that information and I can't, like, because you said like it's going to be held within like an NDA or something, like, so what good is it? What good information will that do just to me? And I can't tell anybody else. Like, people want to know. It's like inquiring minds want to know. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and you'd be able to say like, "Hey, I saw XYZ. Like, I saw them do this." Like, you wouldn't be able to say like, "Here's their encryption key," or like, "Here's
No. I'm not talking about like sensitive
the
information. What I mean is like how they can prove something. Like, okay, India was talking about he saw some things like the company did. Obviously, he had firsthand knowledge, and he said that doesn't move the needle for him. As far as like what he said, his interaction with that information was. But what I'm telling you is, if we get exposed to that information and somehow are able to tell everybody here about what our experience was, or perhaps documented in some way, like, what do you like? Are they going to give us what we want, like as far as what we're asking, or are they going to be too cagey about it? Well, we can only say only to a certain level of this information. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't, I wouldn't, if you were going to go on this endeavor, I would recommend that you put together some sort of like proposal for like what you want to see, what questions you want to ask, et cetera, right? So that they make sure that they can answer your questions in a manner that satisfies, at least you, and B, if those answers are like proprietary or sensitive information, figuring out what the like the release schedule or like what's the classification of any documents that come out of that visit are like. So I wouldn't say just like, oh, show up and say, oh, hey, I want to ask a bunch of questions, and like you'd have to prepare things ahead of time, and I would assert that you would
well,
want
I
to
wouldn't
like
know.
go
Yeah, I
ahead.
wouldn't know what overstepping the boundaries is. Like, I wouldn't know what questions
Exactly.
are going to be too. So, in other words, you'd have to have an informal sit down with someone that you could have the conversation with before you make the proposal. Is what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Like to make sure it's even like worth your time.
Yeah. So how can that take place? How can you then? That's what I'm saying. Then it would go back to leaning on the person that would know that person to have the sit down for the informal meeting, so you can have a proposal. You know what I mean? It just steps to
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, exactly. I agreed.
so what I'm saying is, how could you initiate the first step? Like, that's the most important one. Like the actual sit down informally. Like, what are you going to invite me to like to a barbecue, or like what? You get what
No,
I'm
no, no, no.
saying? Like,
It would probably just be a phone call, or like a Zoom meeting. Like
okay.
the organization, like there's a good organization in Texas, like Cedar Park outside Austin. There's a cool organization in like downtown San Francisco. Like hell, we could probably even get y'all into, or a few y'all if you're in the LA area, into either JPL or SpaceX, or if that's too large, like figure something out. But there could be some sort of collaboration here, to get y'all
Okay.
at least access to ask some questions.
All right. And as far
But
as documentary,
go
because
ahead.
this needs to, like, it'll be a more on a professional note. So it would be like a documentary, like that we control, not like some other organization like Netflix or something is trying to do. Like, we'd have the funding to actually start some sort of like documentary that's going to be able to put everything together for a case, you know. And
Well, so
you
I
guys
would
are anybody, and
go
that
ahead.
way you guys will know exactly what we're doing, like full transparency. There's not going to be any like, oh, we were trying to figure out the Earth was flat after all. Like, no, it's not going to be anything like that. Like some people would have like this hidden agenda, like to kind of surprise some guy that works at JPL. Like all of a sudden, hey, like how does this work? And is the Earth actually flat? And like the guy's just bumped, like what do you call it, railroaded with these questions, and he doesn't know
Yeah,
how to
no,
answer.
that
You
would.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not putting my neck on the line for that type of bullshit. Like I would want to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
I would want to
That's
be
what I'm
like
trying
very
to tell you.
transparent.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, if this does happen, it would be completely on the level, but only with the questions that would be, uh, you know what I mean, proposed as to like how.
Possibly answered satisfactorily. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I'm not sure.
Someone's
Hey,
hot mic. Heads up.
what's up, guys?
Mina, are you there?
Hello, anything else?
What's going on, Mina?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Doing well, man.
I am new member here, and I just please read my level in English. What's my level? Okay, testing me.
Okay. It's very hard to hear you because you have like this echoey sound when you speak, but it sounds like you're curious about what we're talking about here. Is that right?
Yeah. More.
Okay. What was that?
Okay, rate me or rate me. I will introduce myself, and you can rate me from 0 to 10 in English. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Mina. I currently work as software developer from Egypt. Um, that's all.
That was good. That was a good introduction.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
Rate
I
my
know
accent.
exactly.
What's my level?
Well, yeah, obviously you have an accent. I can't tell where it's from though, so
A2?
that's good.
A2? A2? Maybe
DJ,
A2?
hold on. Mina, hold on. DJ, could you take point on this? Do you mind? Or are you busy?
Yeah, sure. I have only a few minutes, so.
Okay.
How
what's
can I
going on?
learn? How can I develop
Oh,
myself
Mina,
and
with Mina.
develop my
Yeah, I
skills?
don't know. Mina just kind of wants to practice English, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Mina, this is Advanced English Channel. You're not
Are we
gonna
live on YouTube?
you're not gonna understand a lot of things we say because we're talking about a lot of English words you might not have heard before.
Okay.
That was a good introduction though, but like this probably isn't the channel for you. I mean,
Okay. I am not right channel, right? I will go now.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Go.
Everyone wants to bounce in here and practice English.
We
What's
got
the
a few
G,
people in
buddy?
here. Oh God.
What Glovers don't know that freaking.
We got
Josh knows it.
Because in here. Welcome, Because. We got Don Julio. We got High Q, IQ, HWI. Welcome, guys.
So Josh, why are you trying to why are you like promoting this space idea to us? Like I'm like if we don't believe in it, then are you not gonna be able to go or something? Is it like a collective consciousness thing? Like everybody has to believe in it for it to happen?
No. My wife says I'm not allowed to go to space. It's like one of the things where it's a no go. So I gotta wait for her to kick the bucket before I do that. No. It's just
Do you think you're ever
I-
gonna go, Josh?
oh yeah. It's a one question, not an if question.
You think you're gonna go to space? You personally?
Yes.
Okay, good luck with it.
It's like half arrogance, half manifest. You know.
What if you don't?
Okay. I've
Yeah,
lived
I'm
a
just
pretty good
asking.
life.
Curiously, I'm just well, I'm asking for a reason because you know who Lex Friedman is, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so he was interviewing an MIT chick, and she studies uh, exoplanet biology, fucking whatever that is. Anyway, what got her into it was that her dad was also like an astrophysicist, and she was lamenting on his show that he died thinking that he would be able to go to space in his lifetime, and he never did, and it was a great disappointment to him. She said. So when you reach the end of your freaking lifespan and you're still earthbound, what are you going to think?
It's not my life's goal. Like
okay,
it's like,
cool.
am I ever gonna go on? You know, am I ever gonna see
What
the
if it
Great Wall
never
of China
happens?
or Machu Picchu? Yeah, that's fine.
No, like
Honestly,
no, like
the biggest
at
thing for
what
me is the
point?
people.
At what point would you start questioning it? Like if you still haven't gone in like 20 years, 50 years, 70
I don't
years?
think I'd ever question it because it's a matter of money at this point. Because I can just write a check to Blue Origin and go up in New Shepard. So it's not
Yeah,
an if. It's
you
not an
think
if
New Shepard?
question, right?
You would consider Blue Shepard going to space?
I mean, yeah, you're above the
Aliens?
Kármán line.
Uh, well, that's a political designation.
I agree.
You should know that. You worked at the UN, so it's a
Yeah, but I'm
political
curious.
designation. So
Knowing that we
you
have
know the Blue Shepard lands like 2 miles away from where it starts, right?
Oh, I understand. It just goes
hey,
straight up and
Indio,
down. It's like
It's
Indio,
a
throwing
giant
balls there.
pogo
Yeah.
stick. It's like an
Yeah,
amusement
agreed.
park ride. Like we're gonna
Agreed.
throw you up and you're gonna fall down. Like
Agreed.
hey, but knowing what you know now, as far as our conversation goes, what do you think you would think of if you went up to that altitude and you didn't see what you thought you would see? How would you feel about that? That's the other thing too, because your
Yeah,
expectations
go
are
kick
going to
the
be like,
tires.
I'm supposed to see. What would you say?
Go kick the tires. Like, what's going on here? Like, obviously.
N- n- No, I know that, but I'm saying like you're not going to tell everybody there, like, oh my god, like, or
Well,
maybe
I would,
you guys.
you know, watch video ahead of time and see what the projected view is going to be, right? Like, and make sure it aligns with
Well, they've already,
that.
yeah, they've already shown that, like,
Oh, I know.
but that's the other
what
thing too. It's like firsthand experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
what do you think about people like Chris Hadfield saying the Earth looks flat and beautiful from the ISS?
I think he's referring not to the. I think he's referring to topography in that question or in that answer, not the overall shape.
You guys are funny, dude.
No, I'm
Topography,
just being honest with
bro.
you.
No, I just
I'm
think
just being
Yeah.
honest
like
with you.
you guys are like the whisperers, right? You guys like read people's minds. They say something, but you guys know what they really meant. Maybe he just
No,
meant what
no.
he said.
Okay, that's fine. Like I said,
Because you got to
you know,
think that the
when I get
ISS can
poked,
only
I'm
see three.
super comfy.
So, Josh, you know the ISS can only see like 3% of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
If you could see that whole circle, but looking out any particular point, like you're seeing less than 180 degrees, so you're seeing at best 1.5%. But you can actually only focus on 5% of your field of view. So you're actually seeing something like 1/10 to 1% of the Earth's surface.
In focus.
And yeah, in focus. So if you think about this, is that okay? The horizon is supposed to be equidistant. So how can it be curved? How can it look curved from that perspective if the horizon, like say you have your eye level, and then you have the surface of the Earth, the horizon is supposed to dip at one angle in every location. How could it ever look curved? At best, it would look like a circle around you, like looking down on a hula hoop. But you wouldn't be seeing the
Correct.
curve of the Earth. It would just be the circle of your vision. At best, you wouldn't see the curve of the Earth. Not
Well,
from
the
the
curve of the
ISS.
Earth. the curve of the Earth just is the delimiter of the edge of the hula hoop. Like it's your hula hoop starts to be at the boundary between black and atmosphere, which is what people perceive as the curve.
Yeah, but the way people think of it, they think they're looking at the side view of a circle.
No, agreed. You'd have to be up pretty high to do that.
Exactly. It's about 1/8 of the circumference, where you would have a sufficiently large enough view where you would see the actual curve of the Earth, and not just like the limiting circle.
Correct. People perceive that delimiting circle as curve, and then they
Oh my God!
they make
An
that
actual
assertion.
confession. An actual confession. Well, I mean, I wouldn't
dude,
call
I
it
try to be as honest with y'all as possible. Like, if you
Well, I
ask
mean,
me about things I'm not super knowledgeable
yeah, but you're
about, I'll
actually thinking.
usually throw my hands up
Well, I'll
and
give
say,
you
I
credit
don't
because
fucking
you're
know.
actually. Well, I'll give you credit because you're actually thinking about it. A lot of times when we talk about this, they refuse to even think about it in their mind about how it would work, and you're just like, no, it's curved from the ISS. That's the curve of the Earth. And they freak out, right? So at least I'll give you credit. At least you're thinking about it, what the problem is, and
Oh
being
yeah,
honest about
100%.
the answer.
Yeah, no, I have nothing to lose or nothing to gain in here. As far as like my point of view, it's more about the people, right?
Your
Like,
friends might find out.
oh, they already know. Actually, I brought y'all up in an interview recently for a fellowship program. One of the questions was, "What's your favorite conspiracy theory?" and do you believe it? And so we talked about my conversations with y'all.
How was it received?
So like I said, I framed it from a sociological perspective and just trying to meet people where they are and understand their worldviews. It's more of a science communications exercise rather than a debate exercise.
Yeah, but what was the response? Like, what did the group? How did they?
Oh, yeah, no.
Did they ask
They
you where
poked
we
at it.
think the edge is? Did they ask? Yeah.
No. They asked like, is that uncomfortable for you? Like, what is the outcome? What is the goal? Like, so they asked me to define, the boundaries that I set when I come into these rooms.
I guess don't touch my no spot. There's one boundary.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're saying like, you're not saying anything that's sensitive, are you, Josh? Like they're probably probing you to
Oh
make
no,
sure
no,
you're not saying
yeah.
shit that you're not supposed to be.
No, I'm definitely get screened. Well, I had to go through quote unquote, it's called speaker training at Amazon. Like they practice interview questions with you, like pretending that you're on stage or like you're giving a presentation and people ask pointed questions about Amazon. And then you have to like, they teach you how to like, it's called ABC, address, bridge, and I'm trying to remember what C is, but it's basically like you address the question, you don't answer it, you bridge, you pivot away from the question, and then you get back to your talking points.
Oh, that's classic. That's classic.
So you're a
But they
formally
put you
trained propagandist. Congratulations.
100%. But that's
Gosh,
once you go
dude, they're
through
gonna
that
put
training,
you on the
they give
couch
you a
for being
longer
so
leash.
honest. You're gonna be on the couch at Amazon. They're like, fuck, you can't tell them the truth.
How to give a non-answer 101.
100%, and make your audience feel like they actually got an answer.
Well, you work with the government. Like, I looked at your LinkedIn, so obviously you work a lot with the government. So, government actors, their expertise in saying a lot of words and saying nothing.
100%. It turns like there's only so much time for a Q&A, so if you can filibuster while getting your points across, that's mission accomplished while giving the illusion of having audience input.
All right, let's
Obama. I just want to say something. Obama was the greatest person with that skill I've ever seen. Literally talked for 2 hours, and you had no
said
idea what
nothing.
that was
Yeah,
about.
exactly. Real quick, I'm about to go get my flu shot.
You can project any psychological desire onto a speech, and it would apply to you. Like it was fucking
100%.
straight out of the horoscope.
AV, I'm going to run in and grab a flu shot real quick. If you want to practice, I'll be back in like 5-10.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. I want to keep that line of
Grab a
communication
flu
open.
shot.
Listen,
Sorry,
I want
Miggy.
to keep that line of communication open when it concerns what we discussed earlier about actually. No, I'm serious. Putting a documentary down.
I hope we
wasn't
see
kidding about
Josh
that
again
either.
after his flu shot.
You probably didn't hear me. That's fine.
The line of communication with what?
Like if he's actually given a position to let us talk to somebody about things, and I think at some point we should formalize a documentary that we fund, that we organize, that we put forward.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm for that. Go
Yeah.
fund me that
And
shit.
then yeah, well that's what I'm saying. And then have like a few representatives actually carry out the mission, and do it to where we have the right cameras and you know what I mean?
Who's the
Get some
dude that already
professionals
does
on
it and
it.
already did? Yeah, who's the dude that has done a few documentaries and one of them was about flat Earth? He's a flat earther. Is it Hibbler or something?
I'm
Anyway,
not sure.
I think it's Hibbler or something. I think that's the name of it, like Hiibbler.
Because we're always tiptoeing around it, but when it comes right down to it, if we put something out, like let's say the brand 24/7, like if we put something out, and this is what we're saying, this is going to be our legacy, then we will have the full rights behind it, like all the individuals who contributed to it and so forth, the questions we would ask, that sort of thing. I'm thinking we could come out with a really, really good documentary. My opinion, but I don't know what you guys say. I mean, now that we're at this level, this stage of like the argumentation, like why wouldn't we do it? Like who would be the representatives? Have somebody that is, pretty well spoken. I don't know. Like I was thinking like I have Yoder in mind, but like because he's had his already dealings with the government to some official capacity. Like I don't think he might not fit that bill because he's too close to that.
Well, he also values his
I get
privacy.
to go home the rest of the day, so
Extremely.
don't have to go back into the office.
What?
That
Are
was
you
a
hot
fast
micing,
flu
Josh?
shot.
Yeah, he was hot micing.
That was weird.
That was kind of a weird statement, though. I'm going in for my flu shot. Like, oh, I'll be right
Well,
back. I'm
what he
going for
just
my
said was kind of
vaccination. I'll be
weird.
right back.
One of these days, we're gonna hear someone smashing hot mic, dude. They're gonna be just like, ah.
Oh yeah, I just read your comment, Yoder. But yeah, I know what you mean. But that's the thing, though. To some level, everybody that's dealing with these guys will be able to have a discernment whether or not, like, we'll know who we want to speak to. Like, so if he's going to point us to, oh, well, I know this guy. You know, he works at this particular part of the factory or whatever. I don't know how it goes, but then we'll know who he is and whether or not he's worth talking to, and kind of like we'll bet who we want to speak to. All I'm saying is it's just a great idea, to put something out there so that we're not just like some unknown group of people that are some niche corner of the internet. Like I do want to leave something behind, that we all collaboratively put together because all our efforts and what we've discussed should echo into, time, however that is. Whether if it's in the hearts of people, you know, propagating the message that we speak of in here or some documented, video or whatever. Like we wouldn't strive so hard for excellence if it was not for the end game of having people actually be able to, in some way, propagate this information forward.
Yeah, but like the elder said, we need the right people. We all due respect to Josh. I don't think he's the right person.
Yeah, but maybe he knows somebody that we would like to speak to. That's kind of what I was alluding to. Like he might not be the guy, but because he's working at a capacity where he probably rubbed elbows with the guy we want to talk to, he might be a I don't know a way in. You know what I mean? Like
I know it's from my viewpoint. The commercial space industry is a grift. It's just a fucking. It's just like AI. It's just like all these other, you know, feeding frenzy at the government trough nonsense. And that where
okay.
the meat really meets the bone would be in the somewhere in the
Yeah,
military industrial complex. It wouldn't be fucking some private company.
yeah. Okay. So just like Yoder stated in the chat, you couldn't mention that publicly. So it's a shame, right? It's a shame. I mean, that's where we're at with the kind of like the whole documentary. Like, if we're going to actually put something out there, it's like we'd have to have a conversation with people that know what's going on. If we don't, then it's just going to be us talking to people who have heard it, you know, maybe the 3 people removed from the actual person, you know? I don't
But
know if
I
that's
just
going to
think it
help.
was funny. Well, I mean, I just think it was funny. He was talking about, hey, there's all these little teeny companies. Yeah, me and Radwin got a company going on. We got the moon selfie company where you zoom in from the moon, right? Just give us a bunch of money. We'll do it eventually. Trust us, bro.
And we're looking for investors because we're going to do the live shot where you get like a 10-second clip of you walking in your yard from the moon.
Well, there was a company that works with a satellite that actually zooms in. I don't know if it's proprietary tech or not, but there was a movie that I seen. What was it? The one with Will Smith, The State of the Union or something, where they had a
Yeah, yeah.
satellite that would focus right down into like a quarter or whatever. Like, what type of that was back in what 2008 or 9 or some bullshit.
So I'll handle the photography. I'll just send a drone up over their house when they're whatever. They won't know who's got a drone. Just send it up real high. You can't hear it. And I'll just take pictures and zoom in a little bit, and that'll be your shot from the moon when we get down
I'll,
this.
uh, I'll hold
And
a
then we do a
fishing pole with
warp.
a little model satellite in front of the camera so we can pretend we got a satellite accidentally in the shot.
Of course. Well, that's just another layer in. What do I use? Is it on this one? Anyway, that's that's the satellite layer. Make it curved a little bit so it looks like the rest of the photographs that ever come from space.
But if y'all actually want to do anything, like actually execute, right? Because I've offered a few times to folks. Like I had a meeting with the Secretary General a few months back, and like I was talking to some of the folks over in Aether Cosmology, and I was like, hey, if you want to be to put together like talking points or like questions, like I'd be more than happy to like at least have a conversation because that's like half my role within the UN is the youth perspective. Um, uh, I'd be more than happy to, but they never actually followed up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to see if anything can be actually taken from a conversation with an individual such as that. You know, or maybe he's not the guy. Maybe he's not the guy we want to talk to, and that's the other thing. We have on our side, we need to actually see which guy we really want to speak to, and if you have even access to talk to those people, because it sounds like the guys we want to talk to probably you don't have the ability or access to actually have those conversations with those people, because there would be kind of in the realm of the information that we need would be a bit more sensitive, and that's kind of like how we're gonna have that convo, you know? It'd be
Well, I mean, are you interested in like satellite operators? Like, you would have to like you'd have to figure out specifically what information you're looking for, and then we could figure out who to go talk to. Like, And if it
Well,
is somebody that I
that's what
can't
I'm
get
saying.
access to, like I'll be open and honest about it. But you need to figure out, you need to like actually put a line in the sand and figure out what information you need to figure out. Right. What questions do you want to ask? And then we can go from there.
Yeah, Yoder's basically responding to what you're saying right now in the
Don't
text.
necessarily know, right? Like, but like we go talk to the satellite operators, or talk to the executives, like if you want to do a full canvas, like whatever you want to do. But I'm just saying, like, hey, if you establish what good looks like, or what the objective is, right, we could figure out a plan of, like, who would have that
Plan of
information
action.
and who we can go.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
thing,
Like,
Josh. 24/7 has always been a cut above, so we're not gonna be going to like some mediocre standard, kind of documentary
sure.
presentation. We're gonna have a really high standard for what we're gonna be putting out. So that's why I'm saying we would elect somebody who's gonna represent, whoever's gonna be out there and talking to the people. So it wouldn't just be like carte blanche, like me or someone else. We'd all take a vote, probably talk about who's going to do it, how they're going to do it, what questions are going to be asked. Like, so this isn't just kind of like your standard. This is something serious, like somebody should take serious. So
Yeah, I agree.
that's why it's important. Like when we're discussing this, who's going to be and put in front, and also what questions are going to be asked, and who we need to talk to. So
And like
that's why
y'all,
it's like
y'all have access. Y'all have access to my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn has my resume, which has my contact info on it. If you want to set something up, get a chat going. Like, I'm open and accessible. Happy to help. All right, time to find a coffee shop.
By the way, thanks for offering though, Josh. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, I don't debate in these rooms. I don't, but I'm here to, I personally think that the space industry is too elitist, and not accessible enough. And things have shifted over the past like 15 years, and part of that should be, more open communications with folks.
That could
I'm not
be,
not a huge
dude.
fan of
Check this out.
ITAR, et cetera.
Check
Go
this
ahead.
out. This could be one of the questions that gets part of the lumped into the ones that we asked. The statement you just made.
Oh, 100%.
What if? Yeah, I mean that could be. That's not like a crucial point of like knowledge for us, but like that could be something, as in like what we were discussing earlier. Like you have to shake the right hands and be in the right place, and that sort of thing. That could be another thing that we talk about, as to like why there's a projection of like what it's supposed to look like formally if you want to apply for, something like you want to be an astronaut or something. It's not. It doesn't happen in the manner in which people think it does. You know what I mean? Like that could be another rabbit trail that people didn't know about, or they're just assuming it's just that way. And we could prove within this documentary that it's not that way either. Like, you know what I mean? Breaking down the
I agree.
walls of like
How this works.
what is real and what isn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, y'all put some stuff together. I'm happy to kick the tires on it, and yeah, I mean, a lot of these commercial entities, as long as you're a U.S. person, right, that you have access to, at least getting in the facility and talking to folks. And I know for a fact, at least the majority of these small commercial operations aren't doing classified work. It's mostly all in the open. So it's just, a U.S. ITAR stuff, not security clearance stuff. Yeah, Yoda, those are great questions. Like, there's folks on console all day, every day.
Yeah, he did make a good point right there, what he just said. We already know that information. Yeah. And he said it before too. It's kind of like what everybody doesn't realize. There's actually a black box in the black box. So we don't know information that's locked behind those doors. And that would be the kind of information that would be crucial for us establishing a documentary that would present to the world whether or not we can decide the information we're receiving is one that they're being forthcoming with, that the Earth is a globe. And why not, right? Because, like you said, if it's this elitist group of people and they're not allowing people to know more, like, wouldn't you want everybody to know this? Wouldn't you want to present the world with this information?
Correct.
Why would you hide it behind closed doors? It's not something. Okay, let's put it this way. It's not something that should be put behind closed doors. It should be something accessible to every human. If it was our right as a race of humans, right, to roam around the galaxy, like we'd want to know this. Like, why is it shut behind closed doors? You know what I mean? Like, who gave them the permission to do that? You know what I'm saying?
And hell, if we get the door slammed in our faces or like things, seem off, like that's more ammo for y'all. And I
Exactly.
have to go look in the mirror for a little while, right? Like and try to figure out where my house of cards fell apart, right?
That's exactly what I've been talking about, Josh. So that would be even worse, right? Because why would they like? I mean, this late in the game be withholding information if they're saying that they're making space accessible to every human in the future? It's going to be for everyone, and like, okay, so why are you still holding back the knowledge? Like, oh, because you think another country is going to hold on to this, and it's going to be about China versus the U.S. or like, what is that the reason? Like, is that good enough reason not to let people know? You get what I mean?
Well,
I mean,
you
like,
just remind me of
God,
that crazy argument people make. Like, there's 148 space agencies and with hundreds of thousands of employees. Well, how come like when you try to drill down and get into the weeds on this shit, you end up with something that's classified? If everybody's doing it, then it's not a secret, right?
Man,
If
that's
freaking
what
all
I'm
these
talking
space
about,
agencies,
Indio.
yeah, it doesn't make sense how it's simultaneously a secret and public. Like that just
Yes,
doesn't jive, dude.
dude.
It's a contradiction.
Wait, I need Yoder to chime in on this, bro. Like, Yoder, help me out, brother. Like, I'm saying the same thing that Indio's saying that I'm telling Josh. Like, this is the thing that, okay, we're at a very crucial moment in history where there should be a crossover where we're not withholding information from people anymore. Maybe at some point it was back in the day when there was this quote unquote Cold War going on, and like you couldn't let the other countries know what we were doing. But isn't it supposed to be like today? Like, now everything's become available to all of humanity. Like, knowledge, we got AI. Like, why is it still gate kept, dude? Why is it still held behind closed doors? Like, it's enough of that already. You know, let's kick down the doors and say, okay, now the world wants to know. Okay, we all want to know. Are you
so
showing us that the Earth is a globe or not? Like,
it's a cultural thing. Like, there's a lot of old heads that are still operating in that Cold War mentality, which is why I want to point y'all towards some of these newer commercial entities, like these startups, but more so like large funded companies, no, medium sized, like a couple hundred people. They've got a couple $100 million in backlog contracts. They're building hardware, launching, operating, etc. But like for example, my first gig out of school was working for the Aerospace Corporation, which is sort of like the think tank for the DoD. And my manager, who was like pretty close to retirement, still referred to the NRO as the customer, because the NRO was a black agency until like the early 90s, when it was declassified under the Clinton administration. And this was like mid 2010s at this point, and my manager was still not comfortable with even saying the words NRO. And like, I was on a call, I don't even know who I was on. It was like Friday. Last Friday, I was on a call with a commercial entity whose main customer, like the data that they sell their stuff to, is the NRO. And the guy was like, yeah, I mean, we would love to, get this service at a price where we're able to still like pass it along to our customer, which, I can say is the NRO, which still seems weird. And I was like, dude, they've been declassified for 30 years. What are we doing here? So there's still like some cultural stuff as far as like folks that have been around the block for a while. They still want to have close hold on things that are technically public information.
that's exactly what I'm alluding to in this conversation. It's like, if we're already past the mark of like things being classified and held behind closed doors for reasons of national security,
if that's not a concern anymore, then why are we still in the same mentality of, well, space is for everyone, but just not knowing how to get there is not for everyone? So
I mean,
what do we do at this point, bro? Like, I mean, I'm actually asking you as somebody who's actually moved up in ranks, and you're working in in a satellite program. So wouldn't you want to know this information too? This documentary would be for you too. It's for everyone. It would be for everybody that is curious about the questions that we all want to know, that we can't ask because it's like you said, these old heads have kind of a monopoly on the information. So how are we going to move forward now? Like, are we just going to accept that they're never going to disclose the information between the black box and the black box?
Yeah,
Like, we're just going
I
to
got a
sit here and
question.
accept it?
How come NASA's allowed to fail so much?
What do you mean? Like
I don't
just
know.
like schedule delays and like
No.
what do you mean?
Like since I've been alive, they've had a lot of ambitions, and a lot of those ambitions, like, oh, we're gonna do this, and then they do it for a while, like half a decade, and then it gets shit canned, and then they say, no, we're not gonna do that anymore. We're gonna do this other thing, and then they do that for a decade, and then that gets shit canned. They say, well, the government, like, how are they allowed to fail so much? It produced so little.
So you said, I find it interesting. You said half a decade, and then you said a decade, which lines
Yeah,
up with
well, it varies. It depends on what they say they're doing, right? Like, it depends on what they say they're doing, right? Like, because they say, well, like, say we're gonna send a freaking, a rover to Venus, and then they have some project, and then it gets shit canned a half a decade in, or they'll say
So-
we're gonna go to the moon, which has been, I don't know what they're going on now, 50 years.
yeah, agreed.
So it's like a lot of these things get canceled, right? Like, there's spacesuits that they're supposed to send to the moon, right? They've been through like 3 contractors, and now they've kicked the can down the road for another year until the spacesuits are ready. I thought they already did that shit.
Yeah, so I mean, you said half decade and then a decade. That lines up pretty closely with the amount of time it takes for a single term president or a double term president, and then on the back end, like a new guy comes in and changes the priorities because they installed her, like, because NASA admin is a political appointee. Like
Yeah, I
the head
know
of the
that.
agency is appointed by the president. So when a new president comes in, they pick their guy. And if you plotted the data points from when like large NASA programs were canceled, I'm looking back at like Constellation or Gateway or ISS follow shuttle, like the shuttle, the fully reusable shuttle program, Apollo.
Yeah, I get it, bro. I get it that it's politically motivated.
It is
The
political
money,
motivated.
the money grab is politically motivated in it. Like a new president comes in and he wants to stick his name on the moon, so he's
Correct.
like, "Oh, we'll do this project," and then Bush is like, "I'm going to Mars," and
Yeah,
fucking,
exactly.
like,
And
he starts
Obama's
some
like, we're going
stupid
to an
project.
asteroid. And then Trump says we're
Yeah.
going to the moon. And then Biden says, we're staying with that. And then Trump comes in a second time and says, actually, we're going to Mars.
We're going to Uranus.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
it
where
is
they're all going.
motivated.
They're all going in all our Uranuses, dude. Fucking
Yeah,
all of them.
people are tired. People just are tired of the shell game, though. That's what.
Yeah,
It's like,
if we think of any other government endeavor, there's nothing like this, really, where it's tolerated to just like do things like this. Even like, I think of like the military, right? The Defense Department. They'll start a project that they know is going to fail, that they don't even want, and it still keeps going, right? It like has this, to even get appropriation, you have like this inertia that's unstoppable. But not with NASA. It's just like it starts and then it stops, starts and then it stops.
Yeah, I mean, I would point towards the DoD having a budget that's, what is it, 32 times greater than NASA at its peak. And now NASA is like 40% less than that. So, we're talking like over 50, 60 times the budget. So if you have the money to spend, right, you're able to, use it or lose it, right? Whereas with NASA, they're spread pretty thin with the amount, yes, their budget is huge. We're talking billions of dollars, but the amount of things they're trying to do with that budget is even bigger than that, right? So you don't have the funding to execute quickly on these programs, and so that like causes things to linger and move slower. And then, it took over 4 years. There's a new president in office. They're going to completely change the direction of the agency. And so it's a combo between having the budget to program ratio is rough, and being at the whims of the president and the executive branch.
Yeah, but budget appropriations isn't their only source of revenue, right? That's. Have you ever looked at their CAFRA, their annual financial report?
Oh
They
yeah,
got
we did
fucking
that
billions
during
in
grad school.
assets, dude. And I have this question because it wasn't in the CAFRA. If I print T-shirts with a NASA logo on it, do I gotta pay them royalties?
There's a form you have to file to get access to license the logos.
So
You
it
don't
is
have to pay
licensed.
them, but you have to. Yeah, but it's not. You don't pay to license it. Like you just had to fill out the paperwork.
Well, maybe they should
That's how
start
you see
collecting
like those
royalties so we can go back to the moon.
those streetwear brands that have the NASA worm logo on them, and you know.
Yeah, but are these exclusive licenses? Though? They got to be getting something, dude. There's no way they're not getting anything. This is America, bro. Nothing's free here.
No, as long as you follow the style guide, right? There's a whole booklet that says how you're allowed to use the logo, and as long as you're within those bounds and you filed the paperwork to let them know you were using it, I don't. Last time I checked, you didn't have to pay for it.
Dude, can I put a NASA logo on a Gleason's map?
I think there's a misrepresentation clause in the terms of service.
What am I misrepresenting?
Can you pull up that terms of service, that clause for us, and post it? So I want to read it.
I have absolutely no idea. So I'll do that. I'll do that when I get to the coffee shop. I'm currently driving. But yeah, no, I'll grab the style guide for you.
Well, my point is that there's like I always like when there's doing something, I go, okay, what are like situated people doing? And it just seems like government operations that are like situated don't act like NASA acts. Like, why does NASA have the world's largest green screen? Why do they own that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, it's at Michoud Heavy Vehicle Manufacturing Center in Michoud, Louisiana, and instead of building rockets in that space, they're filming fucking Wolverine and shit. Which obviously they get paid to do, right? They have a lot of side hustles going on, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I'd tell you that that's probably like single percentage points of their overall budget.
Hollywood.
But I'm just saying these quote unquote side hustles. Oh, I know, I understand, but it's a government agency. It's all public. I'd be interested to look at their more recent.
At this Michoud, they also do all the federal payouts, like the payroll. The entire federal payroll is processed at this Michoud Space Vehicle Launch Center. Heavy
for
vehicle,
the entire federal
heavy
government?
lift vehicle,
or all of NASA?
But yeah, all for the entire federal government.
No, I'd love to look at a primary source on that. That's interesting.
There's like a little documentary they fucking put out about it, where they're talking about it. It's like a documentary about the center and all the stuff they do and about how big the facility is and blah 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 and all the crap they do there. One of the things they said they do is they do all federal payroll. It's all processed there. They're not green screening that. It's a fake green screen check. I want the real check. Nobody does checks anymore. Does anybody even know what a check is anymore?
We got some new people that just jumped in. Welcome to the group. We got Tickham that just joined. You guys have any questions for this room about the topic of the room? Do you guys measure any of the Earth being a globe at any time, or know somebody who can? Hello. How about Gilbert or Giwrgos? We got Vi in the chat as well. Welcome.
So, Josh, what do you think about the stuff Yoda's presented? The government documents that say NASA was started as a propaganda agency, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
So when did they go like we're going to stop faking it? Now we're going to do it for real? Like, when did that happen?
No, I think the propaganda is through doing it for real, right? Like it's a it's a flex, right? We're going to dump 4% of our 4% of our GDP into this program that is developing technologies that the rest of the world doesn't have, or just the USSR is the only one that's even close. It's a soft power thing. However, I do
God, you
think
have
after
been drinking the government Kool-Aid.
1972,
Dude, you drink all the government Kool-Aid, dude. Save some for the rest of us.
That's why we.
I mean,
That's
sure.
why we. He drank all of mine. That's why I can't follow along.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm a big guy. I need multiple doses.
Dude, you've been doing like fucking funneling at fucking Jonestown. Like, funnel that shit. Go, go, go.
I'm I'm actually gotten to the point where I like reduce it down. Little if the Kool-Aid is cocaine, I'm just doing crack rocks over here.
They're just going straight to the source.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, if it be the creator's will, man, I hope that there would be a documentary that we actually collaboratively put together and put in front of the world's eyes.
I was gonna say I'm a big fan of side quests. This would be a pretty good side quest.
Yeah, but this might get you more reasons to think about where you're at in life with what you're doing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, I mean, work with my therapist a good bit. Like you gotta the big thing that I'm focused on is focusing on the people, right? Like anything you do
your
with more people.
side quest could be counting the number of NPC resets on your side quest.
Hey, therapist, you give him a run for his money or her money.
Oh yeah, no, I got a lot of fucked up shit going on. Definitely make use of it.
Yeah, we'd have a little segment of like a little animation at the bottom. How many doors get closed when we ask these questions?
Oh,
Here's
100%.
Number
Yeah,
one, closed.
little montage of saying "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah. And fingers being pointed in the opposite direction.
Hey, Josh, have you ever seen the interview of the deputy director of the Hubble Space Program and the Soho Discover team phone interviews? Have you ever seen those? Done by Robert Bizzano?
I don't think I have.
I'll post them in the chat, dude. You got to hear it for yourself. There's no way to describe it. He was just going through the NASA called NASA. He's just going through the extensions, and nobody was there for some reason. And he eventually got someone. He got the deputy mission director for this Hubble Space Program, and just asked some questions. Been there 30 years and had never seen the Hubble telescope, which is kind of Odd. Yeah, I'll post the interview in the side chat. Like, it's worth listening to. The Soho one is kind of like Soho Discover. It's kind of some horse shit in there too. They kind of like just like, they're just kind of like just making shit up. But the deputy mission director, he was actually pretty honest about what he was saying. When I say making stuff up, is they're just like, the sun is freaking or freaking 6,000 degrees in the center, and it's a million degrees on the outside, and just like they're just trying to like sell them on their model or whatever, the sun, because it's so close to see the solar observatory or whatever. Anyway, I'll post it in the chat.
I appreciate it.
Now, this person that does the interview was also in military intelligence, so I mean, actually, he was like take military counterintelligence, quite honestly.
That's an interesting field, isn't it?
Yeah, man, because
Nice.
one technique is to plant lies, right? Is to fish out moles by planting lies and to find out how it comes back to you, right? You give false intelligence and to see where it goes, right?
I mean, NFL football teams do that a lot to figure out if they have a mole to the press.
Hey, YouTube. Crony looks like short and otherwise a name.
Is that one of the demons from Dante's Inferno just come in here?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was hallucinating. That was some interesting vocalizations. God damn, I'm glad I'm not going to the office today. Fucking bloodbath. 5% of everybody getting laid off.
You try to stick your head in the sand.
Ooh, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of pissed off people though. They're probably cleaning out their desk right now.
Oh, dude, go to work with a bulletproof vest, bro.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
am not. That's why I got my shots today, so I could just text my boss and be like, "Yo, doctor's appointment. I'm working from home today."
And then they try to take you in with them too. Like, hey man, you don't disagree that this is all a bunch of BS? You're like,
Well,
I'm
so
just trying to get to my desk.
my floor. Yeah, I was gonna say my entire floor at HQ2 is all Kuiper folks, so we have like an extra level of security for ITAR. And so the entire floor is exempt, but I just don't feel like walking through the lobby and dealing with folks walking out with all their stuff in a box.
How do you know you didn't get shit canned?
He said
Our
he's
program
exempt.
was exempt. Yeah, our program was exempt because it's
you might want to go just to
having
check to see if
trouble
your
hiring
key
people.
card works.
No. My laptop still works. Everything. I talked to my boss about it last night. It's like, yeah, no, we're exempt.
He's thinking, hey man, am I still gonna have a job by the morning? He's like, yeah. Don't worry about it, man. You'll be all right.
I mean, my boss is great. My boss, I would take a bullet for my manager.
What if they X your manager too, man? They took all of you out. Like, and get rid of him too, man. They do it all kind of like mobster style. Yeah, get rid of this guy.
No. I was talking to my wife about that, and like because her aunt also works for Amazon in like a different part of the company. So I was texting her this morning to like see if she got laid off. She didn't, but I was talking to her last night. I was like, yeah, all the side quests, all like the space adjacent, like work adjacent stuff I do. If I ended up getting, shit canned, I'd find a new job pretty quick just because of like all of the extracurriculars I do. And she was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I was like, yeah, so like, when I'm out working late or doing shit on Saturdays or stuff like that, it's it's because I enjoy doing it, but also there's intangible benefits, who all that
What's the
jazz.
motivation? What's the motivation for their toilet flush?
I think the official talking point or like the company line is we're becoming more efficient due to AI usage, and that we overhired too much during the post-pandemic capital bubble.
Okay. Like where are they firing? Is it like just across
it's
the
corporate
board?
roles.
Like just
Yeah, there's
because
a lot of
GE
HR
General
folks.
Electric used to do this thing where like that they would always shit can the bottom 10% performing people every year. They just kept cycling like that.
Oh yeah, so that's
Decades
normal.
they
That's
did this.
outside of layoffs. At Amazon, it's the bottom 6% get not laid off, but basically fired for performance every year. Yeah, so about 20,000 folks a year. Not 20,000, like 16, 17,000. But this is in addition to that. But it's across the board. A lot of HR folks, program managers. It's all corporate folks. Like at the same time as they're laying off all these people, we just posted like 250,000 seasonal roles at all of the fulfillment centers. So this is white collar, not putting stuff in boxes.
So it's basically like a Thanos snap, because you want to make everything better, right? So you got to get rid of 50% of all the people that contribute to it.
Decreases your labor spending, right? And our third quarter earnings call is later this week, so they're also probably trying to increase investor confidence and keep the stock price up by showing like, hey, we're our numbers aren't as good, but we just fired 15K to help decrease our labor spending to increase our profit margins.
What's I know this doesn't matter anymore. What's their price to earnings?
Actually, I have no idea. I don't look at the stock at all. I have coworkers and friends that work at Amazon that are like, well, no. Some people do. Like people are like, oh man, we did this product announcement and the stock went up 2% today. And I'm like, no, I mean I've got my RSUs that'll vest. I don't even think about it. It's not worth my time or my anxiety.
Typically, they do a layoff when they want to so they're trying to shore up their financial position. So they have, on paper, it looks like they have less
Correct
outlays, right? So typically, they try to do this before they borrow a bunch of money. And to me, I think that's why I'm asking you. I would say Amazon must be cash positive, but they might want to do a buyback. I mean, I don't know. I don't really follow Amazon's corporate doings that good. I just know, just generally, when you get a layoff, that means they're trying to do something else, right? They're not laying people off because any reason other than they're just trying to shave something off the balance sheet so they can do something else. So they can add some other crap onto it that's different.
Well, they made 90 billion in profit last year. That's not even like revenue. I don't know. It could be going better, right? They're looking at like Nvidia and AMD and like all these, the AI not circle jerk, but like cyclical economy between Nvidia, Oracle, OpenAI, and wanting to get in on that. So I don't know. They're definitely like implementing a ton of AI features for corporate employees. Like I have an LLM that's like on my computer all the time for everything I do now.
Well, what maybe they want to do some crazy fucking data center build out, right? Like just go on a data center freaking building spree. But
I mean, they're already doing that. That's my county,
But,
right?
but like 10xing it is what I'm talking about. It's like 10xing it. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
they're going to leverage. So with the Fed dropping rates, the Fed's going to be dropping rates. They're laying people off. They're going to take advantage of a fatter margin somewhere. I definitely track their capital expenditures.
oh man, so you see how much money we're spending on Kuiper then?
well, there's probably some freaking tax freaking bullshit with that. There's probably some incentive, some government freaking incentive to do space nonsense.
That program
the same way there
where
was
they
like
launder the
some
money.
incentive.
Yeah, they launder the money through that program.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the shuttle boats to Epstein Island are funded.
And you heard me saying the P there, Indio?
No, I didn't.
34.18.
Jesus fucking Christ. You know, before the 2000s, the historical, like, a safe PE was like 11. And it hasn't been near that. And, like, well, I mean, that's still the safe margin, but like that rule of thumb has been ignored for about freaking 2 decades. It's crazy.
We're due for a big correction.
Well,
Correction? Correction's a nice way. That's very diplomatic.
you
It's a
know, it all
Fugazi,
depends on
buddy.
how much. It all depends on how much growth there is with Amazon. That as if there's more and more growth, I would expect that PE to be higher than if there's not potential growth. So I think I remember somewhere around 2000, Amazon being like 128 PE or something like entirely asinine.
Yeah. Dude, I think it was like 300 at one point because they were losing money. Remember?
I was
Like
referring to the
Amazon was
market as a
losing
whole.
money for a long time.
Yeah, they were losing money hand over fist, but their stock price just kept going through the sky.
I was going to say, you know, Kuiper is quite expensive. They signed like the largest launch contract in human history, and we bought like 80 something rockets with one contract. It was like
From who?
6-7 billion.
From who? The Russians?
SpaceX, Blue Origin, Arianespace, and ULA.
What? Why would they do that?
Because we need launch vehicles to get satellites up.
You know, like if you have like a fleet of vehicles, the more models you have, the harder it is to maintain the fleet.
Oh, I agree. But we need such a high volume.
Why don't they just license SpaceX's tech, right? Build a fucking clone factory of what they're doing and just make your own rockets under license.
They have no incentive to do that because Kuiper is a direct competitor with Starlink.
Yeah, money talks, bullshit walks, as they say.
Stop the cap. You guys are sending up your payloads in their vehicles, so I don't know, man.
So how long until Amazon sues SpaceX for anti-competitive monopolistic practices?
I mean, their reusable rocket tech makes them way cheaper than. Actually, no, it doesn't make them way cheaper. It makes their internal costs way lower. They price competitively because they're the only one that is able to reuse the first stage. But allows them to operate, you know, at like 40% the cost of any other launch provider.
What's the turnaround on the first stage?
Like 2
So they
days?
can use it again. 2 days. They can reuse it in 2 days.
Oh yeah, like 48 hours, I think.
Okay, what's the failure rate? Like how many do you get out of it?
30 plus launches is the record right now.
Who's liable for when they explode?
I think SpaceX is, but you usually get insurance.
Who the fuck would insure that?
It's a good question. Space insurance is a weird business.
I'm in the space insurance business.
I was just gonna say
I didn't say right.
Yeah, I'm in.
He sells meteorite insurance.
Yep, I sure do. $39.95 a month. $10 million if that space rock hits your house or your dwelling,
I
you
sell
credits from space.
Yeah, I'm gonna start selling title insurance on the moon.
Yeah, you can get sections of the moon.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell title insurance, man. You know, like if you get somebody that comes and says they own that piece of moon, and they roll against you, I'll pay out, man. I promise.
It's the outer space treaty. You can't own celestial bodies.
Beg to differ.
Oh, brother. Yeah, like once you're on the celestial body, you just start your own government, okay? Dude, like, who the fuck, bro? Like, are you serious? Did you just say that?
Yeah, he was talking about maritime law. Yeah.
My God, brother.
It would be illegal to do that.
Yeah, where?
To get to that place, you had to go launch from Earth, and the launching state has liability for all actions and hardware of the thing they launched into space.
Yeah, so? Who has jurisdiction?
The launching state would have jurisdiction over you, not the land you're on.
Ah, okay. So we're slaves.
So it would be active treason against the United States.
Well, that's impossible. That's actually not possible to be treason against the United States. And all
you know what I mean.
And all death warrants for treason, it was always against the person. It was never against the frickin' body politic like in the United States. So without the person to commit treason against, that's just dead letter law. This goes back. I can actually.
You know what I mean.
Called Calvin's case. Well, no, I do. Do you know what I mean? That's like they don't have jurisdiction in space. The law that would apply would be the same as maritime law. Amy brought it up, right? So
correct.
So like when you left England, and this is the problem that the people had in America, they wanted the rules of that they had in Britain, they wanted the common law to apply to them, but they weren't in England, they were in America. Okay, so they were like, go fuck yourself, you're under the maritime law because you're in a foreign land. So once you leave your little frickin' rocket ship, you're in a foreign land. Now they could probably try to, like you claimed, treason against the United States, claim jurisdiction over the person. But, like, bro, good luck, dude. Try to enforce it. Yeah, go fly to the moon and arrest me. Go fly to Mars and arrest me.
No, I get it. I'm not saying you can't do that, right? But I'm saying that, they would have the ability to prosecute you.
I just can't believe they even wrote it down, dude. Like, seriously. It's some crackhead shit right there, bro.
They try to codify it, Indio.
Isn't this what the movie Foundation is about? That book or something?
Yeah, but how would you enforce it? How would you enforce it though? What's the level of enforcement there? What are you gonna chase somebody down on the Sea of Tranquility? Like, what's going on, bro?
I have no idea. It hasn't been. This is all hypothetical. But I mean, if I was a nation state that was going to be launching a sizable number of people to a celestial body, like I would, practice pretty hard control over the license to launch and operate, right? Because if I have suspicion that they would, break the outer space treaty, I could say based on that suspicion, I'm not going to grant you a license to leave, to launch from one of our spaceports.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know their ulterior motives until they actually land in the place. And let's say if this whole thing was even a thing that was possible, once they set foot on that body, you had no jurisdiction whatsoever, except for when they set foot back on the craft. Because that craft was,
No. Even if you're not on the craft, you have jurisdiction over the person.
Oh, hell no. Nope.
That's a legal fiction. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dog the Bounty Hunter would make bank, though. I will tell you that. He'd be like, you're gonna pay me $500,000 plus my operating costs. So it's $200 million for the rocket. It's Dude, this is like a movie. Did they ever remake this movie?
They explore the concept a little bit in For All Mankind, the TV show on Apple TV, about like a mutiny on a moon base. I think it's season 1, end of season 1 of the show. It's like an alternate history where the Soviets got to the moon first, and so the space race never ended. Good show.
Yeah, but dude, ain't never gonna happen is the title of that new movie.
Oh, it's 100% a fantasy. Yeah. But this argument's hypothetical. But it's something that we do talk about at the Space Policy Institute at GW, or George Washington University in DC. Like we did like a whole like model UN like war games assignment based off this scenario as one of our projects in the class.
You got lawyers there too?
No, I mean it was a bunch of graduate students in technology policy, but it was a classroom exercise.
But don't you need lawyers for stuff like that though?
To form policy, no. To prosecute, yes.
Well, because there's always a bridge between government policy and the law, right? Because it's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah,
policy's kind of saying what the law should be, whereas the lawyers write down like the actual execution of it, like
exactly.
Codify it.
It's like strategy versus like a program manager.
But actually, you guys can come up with any policy, but you're going to need to sieve that through some lawyer that tells you whether it's actually legal, lawful.
Yeah, but you're not talking about you're not talking about moon policy anymore, Indio. We're talking about Earth. That policies on the moon don't operate the same as they do on Earth. So,
so this is the thing. Like, if somebody can compel you to be a citizen or a subject or something like that, then you're a fucking slave. Because you don't have a choice. You get that, right? I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to expatriate to the fucking moon. And they're like, no. You're a slave. Guess no one wants to touch that one.
It's a good
I agree with
dichotomy there. Like you just need to file paperwork. Like it's open, but it's at the discretion of the regulatory agencies.
Yeah, boy.
Like I ran the regulatory affairs team at one of these small organizations. That was my previous gig before Amazon. And like we were able to do, like it was pretty laissez-faire. I basically it's the same thing with like the NASA license, right? I just had to, the NASA like logo licensing, I just had to file the paperwork and send it to them. Like there wasn't a ton of like digging into what we wanted to do, but you just got to make sure you do your paperwork. If they wanted to close things off, they could. It's just like, you submit paperwork to the FAA, to the FCC, and to NOAA. and they give you a license to go do whatever you want to do. Past performance of the company, you don't need past performance of the company, but it's helpful to have past performance of the person who's filing the license request. So, like when I was running the regulatory affairs team, I had to like I had experience at, like, I boomeranged. I was at Amazon and I left to go to the startup and then I came back to Amazon. But because I had like worked with the Space Bureau at the FCC, it was a little bit easier for me to get my foot in the door when I was running my own team, but I still had like outside counsel that had been doing this shit for like years, and they were able to sort of bend the ear of the folks that I needed to get approval from. But yeah, no, you're not starting a launch facility in your backyard. The FAA is not going to let you do that. Honestly, the biggest thing against you would be NEPA, like the Environmental Protection Act, and then your neighbors getting to vote on the rezoning of your land. If you go dig into like the Camden County spaceport in Georgia, that's been proposed. It actually got put on a referendum to rezone the land to turn it into a spaceport down on the coast south of Savannah, and they, the community voted against it because they didn't want to deal with the noise.
What's a spaceport?
Well, if you're gonna go to space, you
launch
need a
facility?
spaceport.
There's 4 of them in the U.S. Brownsville, Cape Canaveral, Mid-Atlantic at Wallops Island, and Vandenberg out in California. Actually, no, 5. Kodiak up in Alaska.
Yeah, good thing too. They're about to commercialize space, so
We should be able to take a rocket from Alaska
get
and land in
ready.
Florida then at Florida Spaceport. So you should be able to send people in like 15 minutes now.
Point to point? Well, you don't land at a spaceport. You land in the ocean if you're doing a return
What
mission.
the fuck? That
Uh-oh.
sounds like a to me.
Yeah, sorry. No point to point yet.
Yeah, the Globies don't want to hear you land in the ocean. That's not very good, Josh. You gotta. You land in another spaceport.
Nah, it's in the
They
ocean.
don't.
Or they've done a couple reentries in White Sands out in Utah. But there was a startup, Varda, that wanted to do a reentry, and the FAA wouldn't give them a license, so their shit was stuck up there for like 6 months because they were doing like drug manufacturing in low Earth orbit. And they ended up like getting a permit from the Australian government to land in the do reentry in the outback because the U.S. wouldn't let them come back down.
They had a manufacturing plant floating around.
For Varda, the drug manufacturing?
Yes.
Maybe not floating around, but their CEO is pretty active on Twitter. I'm sure if you send him a DM, he'd answer your questions. It's VARDA. They're doing they launch a little capsule up. It does zero gravity or microgravity manufacturing of like certain crystal structures in drugs that can't be done on Earth, and then the capsule comes back down.
Sounds expensive.
It is.
Sounds like horse shit.
I mean, y'all can go kick the tires on it. They've landed like 4 or 5 capsules now.
Special medicine. Is it special medicine?
Yeah,
a lot of money.
I have no idea.
Kick those tires. Take it. Get your flu shot and then pop that pill. bro, Radwin, we're gonna be rich, man. New grift, man.
I know.
Space
great.
pill. Oh, dude, this pill was in fucking space. That's why it's so expensive. Dude, a whole new product line. Just put it in space for like 5 seconds and be like, "Fuck, dude, this shit was in space. I have to charge you 5 times what it's worth."
Yeah, because it the way you would normally make it, you can't make it at all on Earth, so you have to send it to where there's no gravity, and then it makes it. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm sure if you looked around, they're pretty new. I think they're like Series A
But there is
right now.
gravity in space, right?
Well, yeah, but you're in constant free fall because you're going sideways so fast.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that there is gravity.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the mass of like the crystalline structures isn't like compressed, so it's able to form in a way that's not possible on the surface of Earth.
If you look at China, they have glass
Why
of
don't
water.
they just do that? Why don't they just do it
floating
with
around.
fluids?
I have no idea. I mean, if you Google, I'm sure you could find a pitch deck floating around somewhere, or like I said, just DM Delian, who's their CEO.
Sure, I could find a guy riding around in a fucking McLaren laughing his ass off.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, he's a private equity guy. This isn't his first like rodeo. I got into a pretty big fight with him on Twitter a couple years ago.
Space crystals, huh? Sounds interesting.
Microgravity.
If you're in LA, they have their capsules that have come down in their facility.
Dude, it makes so much sense. You got the homeless tweaker shelter on the moon, and then you got people doing space crystal.
Oh shit! Sounds about right.
You'd really be tripping out.
Yeah.
The LA is probably the place to be.
Oh,
And
they're
you can
calling
hear
it
the guy.
Gungo now.
You can hear the pusher being like, "Dude, you gotta try this shit."
Made in space.
In a tweaker shelter.
Space drugs. It's not in work. It's just falling with style. That is all it is doing. And microgravity is just a fancy word for saying that they're falling with style.
Correct.
Well, seeing they only have 5 pills, how are they going to do human trials on that?
I actually have no idea. I haven't kicked the tires. I haven't dug into it too heavily as far from like a pharmaceutical point of view. Like I understand the mechanics of like what they're doing from a satellite point of view, but the actual like payload and how they're gonna the product that they're actually making, I have no clue.
Yeah, mass market. How do you mass market something like that, dude? It ain't even. It's not even feasible. You have to send a shit ton of pills up there to get crystallized, and come back down. Like, dude.
And then, like, bro, and then you have to start with animal trials, right? Like, so then they got to freaking kill a bunch of animals, then phase 1 clinical trials, and then phase 2, then phase 3 to get to a human being. Dude, you think developing a pharmaceutical is expensive now? Like, Jesus Christ, this is like a fucking $100 billion fucking endeavor. At least. That's probably just to get to the animal trial.
I was gonna say I'd be interested in looking at their pitch deck.
I guess if you could sell somebody on magic space crystals, you could probably get them to pay out whatever it is the drug costs. You know what I mean? It's just like Jack and the Beanstalk, these magical beans. They'll pay whatever, dude. Like,
That's a perfect.
I'm serious, brother.
You sold the fucking cow?
Got these magic beans, bro.
I got the fucking crystals, man. Come on.
Yeah, he got you, man. I got you space crystals. I mean, what do you need, bro? Got it all right
somebody
here.
say that they did all that for 5 pills?
Yeah, that's what I said. Imagine mass marketing that thing.
What the hell?
I mean, just weigh. Did they weigh out the cost factor, or they just like cowboy up? You know, like, oh, we're just gonna send a whole bunch of.
That's why I said I want to look at their pitch deck, because obviously they would have to, like, you know, do some like total addressable market analysis and all that jazz to get folks to give them money hypothetically, but I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, and then you gotta go beg Elon for rocket rides and yada yada. Unless they got their own vehicles.
No. They go up on SpaceX, not Winnebago, not Hitchhiker. What is the Winnebago's the name of their capsule that comes back down. I'm trying to remember what the name of the launch is, because like SpaceX does 2 rideshare launches. One is in polar orbits and one is in mid inclination. One of the polar orbit is called Transporter. Basically, it's like a Christmas tree. They like, instead of having like 1 or 2 satellites, they sell a ton of slots for like up to 100 different like customers, and they put them all on one rocket.
Can you give me the electrical diagram for the controller that launches those satellites from the rocket? I want to see what their PLCs are using.
I have no idea. If you Google transporter mission or SpaceX transporter, you can see some of the launch stacks. They look like Christmas trees, but they have like tens of customers on each launch.
Just want to see the wiring diagram.
Well, I don't know. I'd be interested to see that as well. I don't know if they have electrical contact with each of the payloads, because it might just be a mechanical interface for deployment. But yeah, like I said, you could dig into that a little bit more. Oh, it's gonna bug me. Transporter is polar. I'm trying to remember what the name of their mid inclination one is, because that's the one that Varda uses for their launches. Bandwagon. So if you didn't want to go over the poles, right, you could book a ride on a bandwagon launch that goes to mid inclination, like 45, 50 degrees.
You could get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, they're like the Uber of space. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's exactly what it is. It's like a ride share. So that,
Ride share.
XYZ university that just wants to put up something the size of a loaf of bread doesn't have to pay for a whole rocket.
Why are you throwing up small things like that? What are you trying to do?
Some of them are for education purposes. Some of them are for like, testing out one piece of hardware to get the technology readiness level up. Some of them are actually doing science. Like there's like some like swarm, like formation flight concepts out there. But there's a whole conference called SmallSat in Utah, the first week of August every year, where a lot of schools come together and talk about the CubeSat programs they're working on. Like when I was at NASA, the CubeSat program I was working on was called TechEdSat, technical education satellite, and literally the purpose, like we had a payload on it, it had a camera and like an NVIDIA GPU hooked up to it so that we could get like live footage after deployment. But the main purpose of the mission was just technical education, like it was a training program.
Aren't some of the satellites
in a thermovac chamber? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
They're like the size of a football. Those CubeSats, like little tiny satellites.
So I mean, smaller than that, they can be. They go off a U system, like unit. So like a 1U CubeSat, each U is a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter cube. So, if I say I'm making a 1U CubeSat, it's just a, 10 centimeter cubed little box. Or if I'm working on a 3U CubeSat, it's, 30 by 10 by 10, like the size of a loaf of bread. And that goes all the way up to like 12 or 24U. But yeah, anywhere from like something that could fit in the palm of your hand to like the size of a mini fridge.
Do you have any control over that, or is that something that's just like released?
No translational control usually. Sometimes the larger ones will have like a small cold gas thruster, which is kind of just like letting air out of a balloon to do propulsion, like a tiny amount. We do have like rotational control. So if you wanted to like point things, like so we'll either use reaction wheels or magnet torquers, which are just like coils of wire that you're able to run current through to interact with the magnetic field of the Earth to provide torque. Or reaction wheels, which are basically just like a disc that like a weighted disc that you're able to spin up. And you know the force you're using to spin up the disc creates a torque in the opposite direction along the same axis. So there is some amount of control, but nothing too complex.
So the Hall effect thrusters, those are just for big satellites. You don't use those for.
Yeah, you need a ton of power for those. You need like kilowatts. And usually the solar panels aren't big enough for a CubeSat. I mean, I think they've flown a couple small Hall effect thrusters on CubeSats, but again, that's like when you get up to like mini fridge size. Yeah, Hall effects usually kick in around like 50 kilograms ish or larger for propulsion.